Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. It is Marvin speaking. We're going to get into a video shortly. The James Bulger murder on February the 12th, 1993. Venables and his friend Robert Thompson, both age 10, abducted James Bulger from the Strand shopping centre in Bootle. The two boys led the toddler away to a nearby railway line where they tortured and killed him. His mutilated body was found 2 days later. Venables and Thompson were convicted of murder in November 1993, making them the youngest convicted murderers in modern British history. And like I said, Venables basically was released, but parole violations. He was recalled to prison in 2010. After being released in 2013, recalled again possessing further child abuse images. Subsequent parole, hearing, public inquiries, and obviously a lot more that hasn't really been sort of disclosed to the public as well. Robert Thompson, he's supposed to be out, isn't he? And there's a bit of a topic of conversation about him as well. Okay, let's get into the video.
John Venables was 10 years old when he murdered James in Merseyside in 1993, and after serving nearly 8 years for the heinous crime, he's since been recalled to prison twice for possessing child abuse images.
Delighted to say I'm now joined by James' father, Ralph Bulger. Ralph, first of all, thank you so much. I know it's the first time since that parole board made that decision that you've done a TV interview. Sarah and I are very delighted you're here. We talked before. Mm-hmm. What were your thoughts when you found out? Initial thoughts, initial reaction?
Glad he's being kept down. Like, public's a bit more safer for 2 years, so it's a bit of a result.
Do you get any inner peace from it, or is it just a thought of what you just said, which is in 2 years we're going to have to go through it again?
Just 2 years of not having to worry about them.
Now, this hearing took place in private because of the issues around identification. So you couldn't attend. Would you have wanted to be there in the room as this decision was made? How would you feel to come face to face with him again now?
I wouldn't really want to be honest. You don't know what would happen, what feelings it'd stir up, and so.
If we can talk about it, I know it's difficult for you, this argument, I mean, I had somebody on who'd written a book about the whole story the other day who said to me, and I quote, and I'd like your take on it, we've always been straight with each other, a child at 10 is not evil.
Well, he was.
To which I said, well, it was premeditated because another kid got away the minute before your son didn't, right?
He was very lucky. So, I've always been under the belief of he wants to commit again. He's just waiting for his chance. So,
and he's been let out twice, as Sarah said in the introduction, and has been recalled to prison twice.
And like I say, he knows how to lie to them, because he was taught to lie to hide his identity, so he knows what he's doing.
I mean, for you, this is effectively a life sentence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because every 2 years, you are going to go back through this process, wondering whether he's going to be released. What impact does that have, Ralph?
It's just mental torture, isn't it? It is what it is, but... Are
you almost oblivious, sanitised to it by now, because you've had it for 30 years?
Well, I'm just used to getting doors slammed in my face, to be honest with you, so... It's just... You get a bit thick-skinned.
You talk about the door being slammed in your face. Do you feel now, with this decision, do you feel that you're being listened to and that your views and your needs are being heard?
Hopefully they do listen, because, like I say, he's a ticking time bomb. Like, I feel deep down in my heart, as soon as he gets the chance to commit again, he will.
My sort of lack of agreement with that man the other day was that he's one of those people that thinks that everybody could be rehabilitated, and he threw at me the fact that Thompson, the other person, no, I'm with you, mate, I'm just doing the job. You know how strongly I'm with you. Yeah. The other guy, Thompson, has been apparently rehabilitated and is out and isn't going to reoffend. But that, to me, led me to say to him, but surely some people are so evil they should never be released. And let's not forget what he did to James, and then let's not forget about the sexual pornography to do with children. And there's a massive part of me that goes, hold on a second, what are we doing as a society? You're done, mate. You don't deserve your liberty.
Well, you just got to look at the when he was going on the dark web to cover up how to mess with kids. That speaks volumes. So he wouldn't be doing that.
Very dangerous.
Unless he was contemplating doing something.
But what would you say to the people who say his partner in crime, Thompson, has been rehabilitated? If you'd been sat with me the other day, what would you have said to that man who said, children aren't evil at 10?
He's just keeping his head down. That's all he's doing. He's keeping his head down.
Whereas the other one has proven that he can't.
He likes what he's doing.
He didn't even turn up for his own parole hearing, did he? I mean, what does that say to you?
He's not bothered.
There's been no remorse, though, Sarah, has there?
No.
Ralph? I've never heard any remorseful comment. Just apparently there was real anger that he hadn't been released, as if he felt he was going to be released.
So if you release him, then he kills another child or a mother and child, then who's held responsible for letting him out?
And I mentioned that the hearing was held in private because of his anonymity. You've campaigned hard that you want that lifted. You don't think he should have that right?
Well, people should know what he looks like. So at least forewarned. It's best to be forewarned, isn't it? You know what I mean? So,
it's one of those subjects, mate, because I know you and I've known you for years, that gets my goat so much, and I don't understand, and Sarah, maybe you disagree with me. I think there are certain things in life that mean that you lose the right to be treated like the rest of civilization. And I am sick and tired of hearing people say to me, but you know, he's changed. Well, hold on a second, you just used the best sentence. You and your ex-wife have been given a life sentence. James got no chance, and yet we're debating whether at taxpayers' cost this piece of trash, who, can I just repeat again, right, has come out twice because parole thought he'd changed to make problems with kids and sexual abuse images. Is there not a case of, like, as a society, we should be going, sorry, you're too much of a danger, you've had your chance, you've broken the rules, do one. That's how I
feel that for what they did, and they're walking, one of them's walking around, should I say, and the other one's really, really off key. They've got severely mental health problems, and are very, very, I think they're both two sick individuals, but it seems to be people who are trying to find out who they are. And I've seen a lot of TikTok videos, a lot of YouTube videos as well. I think that it's, for me personally, I think it's up to the government to change that law, because like I said, I think that the venables anonymity should be put out there, because like I said, I still think these two are dangerous in what I've heard and read about them. I remember when this actually happened, I was a kid at the time, and it was, I remember, you know, my mum was on about it, and she said it was just absolutely unbelievable. And for that time as well, in 1993, and what they did to 10-year-old boys, it just never, it was never heard of before, something like that. And what, you know, weren't they the youngest to actually sort of, you know, take someone's life? These two boys, who, and obviously now adults, one of them's out, and there's, you know, there's stories going around who he may be. I do think it's up to the government to put that out there, and people really shouldn't put themselves in danger who they think he is, to be honest with you. But I'll do a part on that in a second. In the messages, and they're still protecting him. The world should see what they look like. So yeah, definitely. He didn't turn up for his patrol hearing in case his face got out in social media. Ralph has been through every parent's worst nightmare. His life completely destroyed. He's been to the darkness and back. Read his book, My James, by Ralph Bulger. Ralph and Denise have been through hell, and even to the day, still fighting to justice. It's wrong. They are inspirational. Yeah, I agree. Beautiful stuff, and I'm glad, basically, that James Bulger's father is calling for these laws to change at the end of the day, and he's fighting. I do feel so sorry for him, because you could see the pain that is actually still in him over losing his young, beautiful son there. Let's move on to part 2, people. Welcome back to part 2. And there's a lot of videos out there basically saying that Sam Walker is Robert Thompson. You've got to be very careful in what people put out there, because technically there's no proof of that. And some people say Sam Walker looks too young. And I've seen lots of videos like this as well. And I think it is confusing people a little bit. Let's just get straight into it.
That's all he fucking needs to do. That's all I'm saying, man. At the end of the day, yeah, something don't add up, man. Man's doing videos talking about he did 17 years in jail. Where's the mugshots of you when you was younger, man? Go and look at like Jordan McCann, the rapper, yeah. You'll see his mugshots and that when he was younger, man. Where's his proof of childhood and shit? That's all we're asking, man. He needs to just debunk it and put it to bed, man. This is a guy who came straight out of jail, yeah? Talking about the James Bulger killer as soon as he stepped out. Average human being has got a lot more shit going on in their head when they've just stepped out of jail, man. They ain't got the time of day to be thinking about that madness. You know what I'm saying, though? It's a bit... You have to look at the mentality, man, to be stepping out of jail straight away and talking about that, man.
17 years. That's all it is. I get jail. I spent 17 years of my life in prison. So what it will mean...
Interesting video, people. To be honest with you, I'm not too sure what to think at the end of the day, but I wouldn't have thought it was him, to be honest with you. That's my viewpoint in what I've seen on it, to be honest with you. But I think the laws and regulations, I think people have to be careful what they actually put out there about other people, just in case it's not him. And you've got to say, in some ways, why should Sam put photos when he just said, look, it's not me? I think people should, but I think people are going to be pushing, especially the internet is so big now with TikTok and Facebook and YouTube. They want to see evidence of when he was younger, and I suppose people are going to try and pry into him what he was like when he was younger. But like I said, whether he's an adult, whether he decides to do that, that is entirely up to him. At the end of the day. But it's funny how recently has come a topic of conversation, and this case seems to be back in the media, and obviously what James Bulger's dad is actually doing, also spreading awareness as well. And I do think that basically these two killer boys, now adults, I think their mugshots should be out there, basically, even though they've been given names, just in case something else happens in the future, because like I said, they're definitely not squeaky clean, not even today. Let me know what you think, people. Don't forget to subscribe to Streamline Entertainment. And do you think that basically the two boys who killed obviously the young child, should their names be put out there and faces be put out there as well? I think in a way that people maybe go looking for him, maybe try to kill him. That's a massive possibility. We've got to look at laws and regulations. Then you've got to look at basically, keeping kids safe and any of the public safe from these two as well. Because like I said, I do think, what I've seen and heard, after, when they were growing up, they're a bit, psychopathic, a bit weird and strange in different ways. And, obviously the history's there, the timeline's there of what they did and what they're about even today. Let me know what you think, people. Very, very deep case. Like I said, I don't think Sam is Robert, to be honest with you. I think sometimes people have to be careful what they put out there, but that's my viewpoint anyway. Even though people say that, they've got this, there are some similarities there. But that's my view anyway. Let me know what you think, people, and don't forget to subscribe to Streamline Entertainment. Thank you.